Hey there, Bible buddies. I've got another Bible review for you today. And this one is, like the title said, a Cambridge Cameo. I'm sure you guys are so over Cambridge Cameos. I'm sure you're fried thinking about Cambridge Cameos. I'm sure you're like, Rusty Bibles, please, no more Cambridge Cameos. What are you trying to do to us? You're trying to lose all of your viewers. We know what you're doing. You're sabotaging your own channel. And that may very well be the case. But I promise you that I have saved the best for last. And the best Cambridge Cameo is a Cambridge Cameo that you will only find inside this very box. Ba-ba! Just kidding. It's off camera. I had to save it because it is such a unique Cambridge Cameo. You are not going to find one like it. You are not going to scour eBay and discover one. You are not going to find the buy-sell trade groups. There is nothing you can do to find this Cambridge Cameo. It is just that unique. It is just that unique. It is all the rage. All the cool kids want one, and no one can have one because it's all mine. More ha 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 ha. Right? Rusty Bibles is kind of losing his stuff. I filmed like 15 videos tonight, so forgive me, pardons. 1,000 pardons, I beg of you. But I did want to show you guys the original box that it came in. I think it's always interesting to look at this stuff. I mean, I know it's just a box, but like it's a little piece of the history of it all, right? So it did come in this little two-piece box, and you can see it's kind of like gold trimmed on the outside, and the gold is kind of fading with age. The back is just kind of a white Bible, or a white box. And again, a two-piece box, and I will let you guys see kind of the call-outs here on the cover. And this is all the important information, right? So if you ever see like somebody post a picture of Cambridge Bible with the box, right, online, this would be where you look, because this kind of tells you everything. Kind of towards the bottom, it'll tell you what it's made out of. So you can see here it's white French Morocco, or is it? They might have been sneaky and giving me something different, right? I can't pronounce that. Something lined, right? Synthetic. It's Cambridge. It's synthetic. It's going to be synthetic line. Get out of here, Cambridge, with your synthetic stuff, right? But it has all the details. On the bottom, you can see Northwestern Publishing House, 1/10/20. I don't even know what this is, but it's got something there. And then just a King James, red letter, French Morocco, white, and that sort of thing. I guarantee you it's not like anything you've seen before. I did want to show you kind of the new box so you guys can kind of compare the two between what we've seen in the past and what we see now in the present. And it's quite the difference between the two, yeah? Always interesting to see this kind of stuff. See how far they've come. But let's toss these to the side, or maybe just the one to the side. Bible buddies, I am so crowded, it's not even funny. I have like Bibles on Bibles on Bibles, and then stuff that is not Bibles I have on the floor. So I really got to get things going and moving and shaking. Which is what I'm hoping to do. But let me grab the super secret Bible. It is right here, and will be revealed to you in 3, 2, 1. Now look at this. You are probably scratching your head like, Rusty Bibles, what on earth did you do? And let me tell you, this is what I did. Yeah, so I did this. So, okay, let me level with you guys. It was a white Bible, and it was a very aged white Bible. And like a fine cheese gets better with age. Cambridge Bibles don't seem to be like that, especially when they have white leather. The white leather had gotten very yellowed, and I guess it's whatever they use to make the white leather. I don't know about modern white leathers, how they do it, but like old school white leathers can't have been done the same way they do them now. Old school white leathers were like literally painted, which is just like the worst. It's just terrible. So it's literally just like a white paint that's applied to the outside of the leather. And then, of course, the white paint is going to oxidize. It's going to turn yellow. It was gnarly. It was kind of like gummy, kind of got like a tacky texture to it. This Bible, I think, was like $5 or something like that. I didn't pay very much for it at all. And when I got it in, I was just kind of like, oof. Like, it just looked rough. Sometimes I buy Bibles just because they're like super inexpensive. Say if it's like a Cambridge and it's only $5. If I'm feeling adventurous, I don't do it now because I have so many. No thanks. But back in the day, I used to buy them because sometimes it's a pleasant surprise. You're like, hey, it's $5. What can I lose? It's a Cambridge Bible. And you just kind of, throw your money out there and see what you get. It's kind of like those mystery boxes that are so popular with people, right? With the in crowd or whatever. So this one was a white French Morocco. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but it did have Holy Bible embossed in it. And it does have a very tactile grain, and it's a very fine grain. It's a very small grain. So that was nice, but the overall appearance was just shot. It was rough. So I basically sat down with it, and I thought to myself, I'm like, well, what can I do? What do I want to do? I want to do something unique, something different, and kind of make it my own, right? Again, you're not going to see this anywhere. I'm certainly not going to sell it. This is like one of my favorite Bibles, which is funny because it started off with a Bible that was like $5, and I was like, oh, but now it's one of my favorites. So I wanted to do something different, and I'm like, well, what about splatter art? It's kind of modern. blah, 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 you know. And then I tried to figure out like what colors would look good. And I really didn't want to do like another black Bible. I have so many black Bibles, and I figured it's already white. So let me paint it white. It'll be easy at least enough to, you know, kind of not show through. So I painted it white, and then I did some splatter art with some red and black paint. Now the paints that I use specifically are paints called Angelus Paints, and I'll leave a link down below for them. And this brand Angelus, their paints are specifically formulated for like leather and synthetic leathers to paint them, and they're actually used by like professional sneaker painters and like professional like leather artists and that sort of thing. So they're super high quality paints. They're super easy to use, but they have like a leather prep solution. Then you paint. Then you have like a finishing solution. You have like a hardener or softener. You have a whole big batch of mix of stuff that you can do. So I basically just bought a few of those paints, and I started experimenting with them to see what I could come up with and what I liked and what I didn't like. And so this is what I came up with. I ended up painting the whole Bible white, and then I think I just like dipped the brush in it and like splattered across it. And I wasn't really going for anything, but after I did the red, I thought it was really nice because yes, it looks like blood. Yeah, I know. Let's get the elephants out of the room, right? It looks like blood. We all know it looks like blood, but I think it's neat because it's almost like representative of the blood of Christ. And the first time I posted it, people were very all over the place with it. Some people hated it. Some people loved it. And then somebody actually mentioned like, hey, yeah, it reminds me of the blood of Christ. And I was like, yeah, right on. That's what it's supposed to look like, right? Christ shed his blood, you know, for us. I don't know what the black would be symbolic of. I just like black. That's my favorite color. So I had to get some black in there somewhere. It's not a black cover, so bear with me, right? Now, as far as the spine goes, you know, it would have had like the standard stuff stamped into it. Meh. Right. And I wanted to do something on the spine. I didn't know what. And I wish my shaky hands were a little, you know, steadier, because I probably could have done this a little bit better. But I ended up just putting like gold hubs on it. I don't know. I thought gold looked cool. I mean, it's gold. It's a Bible. I don't know. I thought it looked cool. And then it kind of matches with the red and yellow ribbons, but we'll get to those in a second. So I thought the gold looked cool. So I did gold. And then the back just more of the same. You can see here kind of the splatter patterns. I probably should have gone a little bit higher maybe and come down on it. But I don't know. I think it turned out nice. If you guys want to do it, I would definitely recommend using Angelus Paints. I would definitely recommend using a very inexpensive Bible. And if you can find like a really good, like a Bible with really good bones, right? So this is a Cambridge Bible, so its bones are really good. It's a Cambridge. It's got nice text, nice paper. It's a layout that I like. Obviously a Cameo, because I've only done like 400 videos of Cameos. You know, it's all the pluses, right? And I mean, for $5 or whatever I spent on it, how bad can I mess it up, right? You know? So that's the outside of it. Okay, and then as we go inside, you can already see, I mean, it's real. I went real crazy on it. So I think originally it had silver. Silver edges. It says on the box. I'm looking over the box. I'm like, oh yeah, silver. Right. So originally it was silver. And this is when I first started doing my art gilt, and I was not very good at it. So art gilt, whenever you apply it, if you watch these videos online, they always tell you, oh, just wipe on the color, wipe it on, just wipe it on over and over again. But they forget, or I guess, you know, I didn't think of it either at the time. But whenever you wipe, it's an abrasive process, right? It's like sanding, right? Mind you, it's not going to be as bad as sandpaper, but it's still like sanding. So whenever you do this, you know, wiping motion with your abrasive cotton ball or whatever it is you're using, you're just wiping off the gilt, right? The silver stuff. So what I have learned after this one, sadly, is that when you apply it, you don't wipe, you dab it, right? Because when you dab, you're not rubbing off the gilt. You're just kind of doop, 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 tapping it on. And you would do that all the way, all throughout it. And then really, ideally, once you were done with that edge, you would just kind of like very gently wipe off the excess ink. And then that would prevent as much of that loss as gilt as possible. And it's not going to be perfect with every Bible. Some companies' gilt is very well done. Other companies' gilt, not so much. So it might just be up to the company that you do it on. It might just all completely come off. So there's no real guarantee that it was my fault, but I would imagine it was my fault because, like I said, I was brand new to this. As far as the ribbons go, I'll leave links for these down below too. These are great ribbons. They're the ones that I have been using for quite a long time. These are Hobby Lobby ribbons. I know everybody freaks out and gotta have Beresfords, gotta have Beresfords. But if you buy the right Hobby Lobby ribbon, it is very similar to Beresfords. I mean, I'm not going to say like it's identical to Beresfords, but it's very similar. And for the price savings, these are like $1 a roll, right? So figure like $1 for red and $1 for yellow, and you get a whole roll that's probably going to last you a lifetime. So $1 is definitely in my wheelhouse. You know, I just got done telling you I spent $5 on a Bible. So $1 is right there, right where I need it to be. As we move, I'm trying to figure out the easiest way to show you. So you can see the head and tail bands there look a little wonky. It's kind of like a red. I forgot what I did there. I have painted some of my head and tail bands with that Angelus paint. That works really well as long as you have like a very steady hand. You kind of support your hand and rest it so you're not shaking all over the place and dab up your Bible. This one, I don't think I did that. I think this one I like colored it with something. Some kind of an ink. I don't remember what. It does not look great. But I just tried coloring it. I think at the time I was kind of trying a bunch of things. So there's that. As far as the inside goes, this is my like seriously, y'all, this is my all-time favorite end sheet paper. I love this stuff. Again, I'm going to post links for everything down below. I don't have like the account where they pay you for sales, so I don't care if you buy it or not. It doesn't do me any good either way. But I just love their paper. And now, the name escapes me. I can't think of it for the life of me. Mulberry paper. They have some really amazing paper, some really unique things, and they have like all the specs listed on their paper. So you can read it and like figure out like how thick the paper is, the GSM of it. You can figure out whether or not it's acidic. So I poured through all their paper, and I love this specific paper. I think it's from India, and I forget what it's called, but man, it is just beautiful. I love it because it has like actual gold flake in it. I don't know how well the camera's picking that up. But in the gold, it's actually like gold. It's not just like a yellow print. It's actual gold. And then you have the nice black and the white. And I just think it went so well with, the overall theme of the Bible. I love this end sheet. I use it for a few of my Bibles. And every time I open it up, I'm like, look at that fancy end sheet. That is some high quality end sheet. But I don't know. I don't know how well it's going to hold up. That's the only problem because it is paper, right? It's not meant to be opening and closing 10,000 times. But I figure some of the older Bibles that I have, they have paper end sheets and they held up fine. And this end sheet was fairly thick, so it should be okay. We're just not going to worry about it. One day it'll tear, and I'll shed it here, and that'll be the end of it. Yeah, so let's get into it. I guess I don't know. Should I show you the corner work? Why not? I always do it, so not that there's really anything to see. And obviously, once you paint over it, you've kind of sealed it. Put the nail in the coffin, I guess, so to speak. One thing that you will see here is at the bottom there, the leather's cracking. I'm not sure if you can see that there, but the leather's kind of cracking. I think of like on all four sides, just kind of at that hinge point. And that's going to happen. I mean, again, this leather was like that weird painted white stuff. So I'm sure it was all dried out underneath that white stuff. And then I had to use a chemical to take off the white paint. So it's just this poor cover's seen a bunch. So as long as it stays on, I'm fine. And if not, maybe I'll duct tape it or something. But we have one really extremely end sheet because I also did not pull off the previous end sheet. I just adhered this new end sheet on top of it. So this is like monster thick, almost like a credit card thickness end sheet. Then we have a few less thick sheets of blank paper. And we do have a presentation page here to Ellen Jans. Thank you, Ellen Jans, wherever you are, for your contribution to the channel. I really appreciate it. This Bible is certainly one of my favorites, like I said. And then we have a marriage page. And that's it. No death pages or births or grandchildren or any of that kind of stuff. There is one blank page. And then you have your title page. And this is going to be all standard fare from here on out for the most part. So if you want, just click on to the next video. Save yourself the time, the headache, blah, 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 right? Either way. Or if you stick around, cool. I appreciate that too. It's up to you. But I'm going to keep going. So we have the Cambridge Cameo, right? And it's a 16 MO, just like we've seen. It is references, right? So it's going to have the center column references. And you can see right there, that all-important word, India. So it is printed out in India paper, which is why this paper has held up so well over the years. And it does have pronouncing text, like all the other Cambridge Cameos that we've seen so far. And we will turn one page if we can. There we go. And we have our copyright information. Down at the bottom, some more. And then opposite that, we have our epistle dedicatory. And the table of contents. And the table of signs used in this book, and the first book of Moses called Genesis. And this should look very familiar to all of you. If it does not, I would recommend you click through my channel for another few years or hours or whatever you got. Okay, let's flip to the center. We'll take a closer look at everything all in one go. I've spent a lot of time already on this. Apologies. So here you go. This is Psalms, right? You can see there's a little discoloration at the top. I forget what that's from. If it kind of looks like there's something that kind of leached into it, maybe some kind of coffee or something. I don't know. Who knows? But the paper itself is fine. Psalms, obviously, it's a double column verse by verse layout, kind of standard fare for the King James. It does use pilcrow markers to designate the paragraphs. You have your book and chapter numbers in the top outer corners. On the inner kind of gutter top side, you have running headers, page numbers at the bottom center. You do have your center column references, double line drop cap. You have little, oh no, this is just because the Psalms were in JK. But yeah, so this is the text. Let's get you in real close to that India paper so you guys can see it. And you can see that show through is very minimal. I mean, there is a little bit, but not very much to write home about. So I'll take it. It definitely looks much nicer than today's papers. That's for sure. Okay, let's flip through to the end. Or not to the end, but we'll go to the New Testament. And then we'll go to the end. And you can see, oh, look at that. We got to pause and appreciate that. Look at that. Nice, even art gilt and a nice black, a lovely black. Now, the thing to remember, what I see a lot is like people apply their first round of art gilt and they don't go heavy enough with the color. So it ends up looking real blotchy. So make sure, like, whenever you think you're done with your art gilt, kind of splay the pages out like this and make sure that it looks nice and even, because a lot of times you have to go back and reapply just to kind of get like a better coverage of the ink. So here we have the end of the profits. We have that same blank page that we've been seeing now. And we have the New Testament title page, and look there. It's a red letter text. We can't have everything, right? I probably would have preferred a black letter text. I mean, I guess the red, oh, I don't know if it goes well, because this is a super red, but it would have been nicer for a deeper red, maybe to match the ribbon at least, but this is like that old-timey orangey red that Cambridge used to use. Not the best of stuff out there, but perfect, I guess, for $5 Reno Bible. We get to the end. It's going to be more of the same stuff that we've seen, probably just the concordance and maps. I'm curious if there's any printer's information. Maybe we can figure out what year it was printed. Yeah, so we have the end of the Bible there, and then there is a little bit of printer's information. It says 25E and 70. So maybe 1970, I don't know. Please don't quote me on that. I'm not sure if that's exactly how Cambridge dates work, at least as far as the printing of their book blocks. I'm hoping that's how it works, but you know, I'm no pro, that's for sure. So concordance to the Old and New Testaments. There's your concordance. I will show you that too, like I always do. And my camera's doing this weird thing where it like freezes as it's recording, so I can't really even tell where I'll just assume that's in frame, right? Okay, so we'll keep going. One of these days, my camera will catch up with me. Y'all, I need a new camera. I don't know what it is with this one. I have had nothing but problems with it. And I say camera, it's not even a camera, it's my cell phone what I use. One of these days, I'm going to do a studio tour, maybe before I don't know. I'll do a studio tour at some point, and you guys can see how janky my studio setup is. It's literally like, listen, this is like a rickety little like Walmart like $20 like TV tray table. I have to put my foot on it so it doesn't rock when I'm doing Bible reviews. This is like a blanket that my wife got for like, I don't even remember what, but it's like a spare blanket, right? So I have a blanket as my back sheet, and I do this to try and help with color correction, right? Because I notice, I've recognized like a lot of people's videos that they do, the colors will be thrown off just because there's usually so much white on the page. And then if they have like a weird color background, like a blue or like a yellow background, the camera will pick up on that and it'll give like a blue tint or like a yellow tint to the Bible. So I wanted something that was kind of neutral so that I would have neutral colors and you get a more accurate representation. I hope you guys appreciate all the hard work and thought I put into this. And then I have like literally, so my camera is literally being held up by a selfie stick that is connected to a bench vise on a workbench that I have. So it's jank. It's very janky. And then I have like right in front of me, I have like a tree, a set of like tree lights. I don't know how to explain it. It's like it's sad, but hey, it gets the job done. So I'm not gonna, I don't need $5,000 worth of camera equipment. It's okay. I can make do, right? Let's keep going. before I tell too many of my trade secrets. You're gonna be like 50 million Bible reviewers now. There's not already, but everyone's gonna be like, man, it's that easy? I can do this. Yes, you can do it. It is very easy. So we have the end of the concordance there, right? Printed in Great Britain at the University Press, Cambridge. And we have, my favorite, Bible Maps and Gazetteer. So we have a quick little index of the Bible maps. And I'm hoping these are nice Bible maps. I should have checked before I did all my customization to it. Yeah, and these are the newer Bible maps. They're not my favorite, but they're nice because the topographic stuff is certainly much clearer than it was. It's pretty easy to delineate, the Dead Sea and the Jordan River and all that kind of stuff. It's easier to see. And even the little kind of city illustration there, it's easier to see than just all the kind of garbled black lines. Then you have your Gazetteer, my favorite word. I'm glad at least that it says that. And it's a few pages of that. Let's go to the end. Then at the end we have our such and such weird number, 3/1504, whatever that means. And then I guess our item number, W, so I'm assuming white, 75X, which I guess is the designation for 75, I'm assuming Cameo, X maybe for cross-references, and RL for red letter. But don't quote me on any of that. I'm just really guessing. So, but if I had to, rub my 2 cents together, that's what I would get. And then you just have one incredibly thick end sheet again, like thick as a credit card. So, yeah, let's take some measurements, although you guys should be able to predict what these are by now. It is 7 and, what is that? 1, 2, 3/8 of an inch tall by 5 1/4 inches wide and 1 inch and 1/4 thick. And if you're thinking, Rusty, this is going to be an 8-point font, you're probably right. Let's look at the uppercase. We'll look at an uppercase. It's all A's. Everything's A's. Here's an H. I can do that. Yeah, look at that. An 8.5 point. Yeah, like an 8-point uppercase versus Times New Roman. And we'll go to the M here in Solomon, and it's like an 8.5 point, between an 8.5 and a 9, but closer to a 9 point versus Times New Roman. So overall, it would be a 9-point Times New Roman text. And for me, that's good enough. Do I prefer bigger? Yeah, I mean, I usually like around a 10-point. But for something like this, it's a little more portable. For me, this is more portable. Most of the Bibles I usually lug around with me are fairly big. So given that this is more portable and it's a custom job, I don't mind that it's, a 9-point. Yeah, so certainly Bible Buddies, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to leave them down below. If you would like me to make a video, I don't even know what, describing some in detail more of this stuff, it's in the works. At some point, I hope to do it. God willing, if he gives me enough years on this earth, but I got to get through the Bibles first. I will maybe do a video on how to do this to your Bible. It's really straightforward. It's exactly what you think it would be. I mean, grab a paintbrush and go buy some leather paints. It's not much craziness. But if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to leave them down below. If you could like, comment, subscribe, all that cool YouTube stuff would be much appreciated. Otherwise, Bible Buddies, until next time, bye.